Tyler from the co-owner of Hustlefish is running that one, so it's just how to set up a DIY shop site. So if anyone's interested in starting to sell online, come to that. Then the next one is paid advertising, how to run online ads. We covered social media advertising last time, so this is going to be more about paid search, PPC advertising, stuff like that. And then the last one is building a brand that people follow, and that again is going to be run by Tyler, co-owner of Hustlefish. They have helped build great logos and great brands for many years now. They do really great work. So he's going to be talking about brand consistency, the importance of logo, how to create a cohesive local vibe to grow your business. And then, I mentioned this before, but there are micro grant opportunities if there's any specific marketing goals that you have this year that you need some help with. That could be building a website, updating a logo, any number of things, creating email content strategy, or diving more further into social media strategy. There are opportunities for that, so just head to that URL that has been sent out via email and let us know what you're working on. Okay, so social media, I just kind of wanted to start off by the pros and cons of what it can do and what it can't do. But before I do that, Troy, tell us about social media in your business. How's it going, and what are your goals, I guess, this year? Like, if you could just tell us.
Yeah, I'll have to break them up individually. So I don't really run our Facebook page at all, so I just look at Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
The Instagram page has done really, really well.
Awesome.
So we've done a lot of partnerships lately.
Great.
So by sharing those partnerships, we have gained the other accounts followers into ours, which has been super helpful.
Yeah.
Now TikTok though is just a total failure at this point. Like
yeah.
We cannot get viewers to save our lives.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And has that dropped over a year?
I would say even between the last 2 months, it's dropped a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've heard that there's been some reach changes on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's interesting to hear. And then, do you feel when you were getting a higher reach before, do you feel like it was local viewers? What was your impression on that?
I would say it's definitely a lot more local. Like when I look at the stats, it's mostly, I think, West Lafayette looking at it, and then Lafayette is always second place, and then Indianapolis would be third.
Yeah, so you are finding local traffic. Okay, great. So we're gonna dive into Instagram for sure, a little bit of Facebook, a little bit of TikTok, and Google My Business. That sounds not the doorbell, is it?
It is. So, but that's what Molly's looking at, is it only makes that sound if somebody opens the door.
Okay.
We had one other staff member that was still in the building,
yeah.
so we think it's that she was leaving.
Yeah.
But that's what Molly's doing.
Okay,
So
cool.
don't worry.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It sounds
She's
good.
paying attention.
Okay. So I always like to talk about social media. Social media is a great tool. It's a free tool for businesses to reach their followers. There are some pros and cons to using it. As I'm sure you know, it does take a lot of time and energy. One of the things is you don't own your customer list, so all these followers that you're getting on Instagram, unfortunately, on average, organic reach for business accounts is at 10 to 20% of the page's follower count, just because Mark Zuckerberg would like us to pay for ads. So that's totally normal as far as percentages go. Video performs best, which can be a pro or a con, depending on what your natural inclinations are. And then pros, you're reaching people where they are. 300 million social media users when I checked that stat. And 55% of consumers learn about brands or companies on social media. Organic reach is free and it's a great way to share your story. So we're going to be kind of diving into effective ways to activate the pros and ways to overcome the cons. The first part of today's presentation is about social media, and the second part is about email marketing. Part of the reason for that is to address that con of as you grow on social media and you don't own that customer list, email marketing, if you're able to pair these two things together, gets you a little bit more control of your audience. So yeah, just breaking down the different type of social media channels. I definitely recommend that all small businesses, you know, grab their handles on Facebook and Instagram for sure, and Google My Business, because especially if they're a brick and mortar physical location, Facebook does trend towards older population. From an event marketing perspective, it's definitely unmatched if you are running events. But even if your core audience is on Instagram and TikTok, Facebook has it has a high SEO when people search your name on Google, first of all. So people will pop over to your Facebook page almost like it's a website. It shows your hours, it has reviews. It's a little bit of like an interim website-y sort of page. So even if it's not a big focus for your company, I always recommend still having it in existence, making sure that it's updated so people know how to get your product and where to find you. And then when you have an updated Google My Business page, that also helps with your local SEO. We ran a workshop about that last fall, and if you get really juicy search terms in your Google business description, that definitely increases your search volume for your website as well. So something you don't want to forget about. So a common question I get is how frequently to post on social media. How frequently are you posting, Troy?
I would say 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah, that's a great number. Yeah. For small businesses, I think 2 to 3 times a week is really perfect. I do work with clients who have, how to say it? I mean, they just don't have very many products, they don't have very many updates, and they'll post as little as once a week, you know, so no one should ever feel that they have to be posting daily or that the algorithm will downvote them if they're not posting enough. The best way to increase your organic reach is to post high quality content, which is good images, you know, playing around with decent copy, playing around with video at a regular rate. So even if that regular rate is once a week, because that's, you know, fits your business and the information that you have, that is good. I find that with the local clients that I've had, 2 to 3 a week is definitely a sweet spot, so that's great. And then one tip regarding post frequency, especially for anyone who is maybe a market vendor who posts a little bit more in the summer, a little bit less, you know, in the off season. Consider taking advantage of the pin posting available on Instagram and Facebook, so that when anyone comes over to your Facebook page, your Instagram page, like front and center, always want them to be able to very quickly understand what you sell, how they buy it, and where to find you. So pin post is a great way to ensure that when someone's coming over your profile, coming over your Facebook page from you know, a Google search, they can quickly see that information. So if you decided that you're posting 2 to 3 times a week, you know, obviously you want to be thinking about what to post. Just general content buckets that work well for small businesses are educational, you know, so that's ways to use your product, why you started your business. That one's a really popular one, especially from a video perspective. On Instagram and TikTok, there is definitely been a large drive to like the behind the scenes, and that's kind of the next one, day in the life, you making your product sort of video types that perform really well. People love to see behind the scenes, people love to see like what you're dealing with Again, like the why you started your business, if you're having any struggles, these types of posts do really well when you're a little bit more vulnerable and talking about your big why, you know, why you're making this product, what your goals are this year. And I will also say that in the time that I've seen social media, I've been running accounts for quite a few years now. I've also seen a trend away from kind of like what I would call the millennial look, which is like, I call it the millennial social media look. Something probably from like 10 years ago now, where it's like you have like your perfect desk that's like a pink background and a gold pen and everything's just like super well positioned, and you have like the perfect like look of it right above the top. We loved that. We thought that looked so good. And then Gen Z kind of popped up and started making like dance videos in their bedrooms, and they got millions of views and millions of likes. And all of our like millennial, little like desk setups like stopped performing as well. So I'd also encourage, especially anyone who's maybe a little nervous about social media, nervous about posting about their business, to not worry about it so much. If you have a recently purchased smartphone, you have the capacity to take great photos, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And some of those things that are a little bit rougher around the edges actually perform better on TikTok and Instagram Reels specifically. Things that look super polished can come off as a little bit inauthentic. So you don't need to have a DSLR anymore to be getting really great reach on Instagram, which really democratizes social media for a lot of us who are on there and don't have a photography or videography background. So something to keep in mind on the educational side and behind the scenes, why you started your business, like if you're willing to get in front of the camera, show your face, show yourself talking, these things do perform well. Always want to show some sales, showcasing your product. Announcing new products is a great way to invigorate just some action on your page and your audience. Company culture, team highlights, team events. And then another one not to overlook, and again, this is kind of thinking about like that authenticity scale. Consumer generated content performs super well. So if you see someone post a photo of your content, you can just kind of screen grab it, repost it. What I've always done is like screen grab, repost, do photo credit using the camera emoji, and then at that page. And I've never had any issues with that. You can like direct message and ask for permission, but if their page is public and then you're photo crediting them, I've never had any issue with just screen grabbing and going from there. People like that too. Any questions so far? Or anything you want to dive into more, Troy?
I'm good so far.
Okay, cool. Stop me anytime. If there's anything that like piques your interest, you want to talk more about, we'll do that. So tips for posting quickly. I always recommend having really well organized photo albums, as something I talked about in the Reels and TikTok making workshop. Spending some time organizing photo albums on your phone will make your life so much easier and make it so much faster to whip out social media content. And then if you have a notes app for caption ideas, so while this stuff comes to you, you have a really good spot to place that. That type of organization will just help make posting not feel like this horrible chore, which I know that for some businesses it does feel that way. And if you want to level up, consider pre-scheduling and creating a social media calendar. So if you were to create a social media calendar, do some pre-scheduling, that might look like, Monday morning, you have like marketing Mondays, where you sit down and you think, what do I have going on this week? All right, we have this product launch, want people to come to the farmer's market, and this event's upcoming. These are my 3 posts. So I'm gonna like sit down and just spend a little bit of time pulling my captions, pulling my photos together, and like getting it all set up, and then you don't have to worry about it for the rest of the week. If you're able to work that into your schedule, it is really nice. I know some people will do it a month in advance. That's a little bit like, it is definitely harder to plan that far out in advance, but if you are interested in leveling up your social media game, having that kind of forward thinking, like what do I have going on this month, it definitely does help from an organization perspective. And my recommendation is going content topic, level 1, caption level 2, save the graphics, video, content creation as level 3. If you follow it that way, that's definitely been the fastest, easiest way to create social media content in my personal experience. Some tools to talk about. So for photo organization, just use folders on your phone. For scheduling, Facebook Business does have scheduling, including Reels. Buffer is a totally free tool that you can connect all of your social medias to and schedule through Buffer. Really recommend downloading Grammarly on your desktop or your phone. That just kind of like goes through your pages and checks for spelling errors, just those little things when you're doing captions. It's super helpful. If you are wanting to create a social media calendar, you can try Trello. They have a free version. Google Docs or Sheets. You can kind of see Sheets right up there as an example. Or a physical calendar would work. Video editing, highly recommend CapCut or in-app video editing. And then graphics, Canva is a great one to use. Can't see these very well, but these are some scheduling tool examples. Buffer is on the right side, and then the Facebook Business is on the left.
So
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
Will
yeah.
Buffer like automatically make the posts?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. So in this example, if something's posting out to LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. And yep, you just add your videos or your files, and it'll auto post at whatever day you say you want it to post. And like I said, Buffer has a very free version. You never have to upgrade, which I like. There's millions of social media tools, and a lot of them like cost a little bit of money. And in the Facebook Business backend, you can do Reels on either one. You can kind of just play around. There's some things in the native Facebook Business side that allow you to just do a couple more, like you can like title a video on Facebook, where in like Buffer you may not be able to like add the title. Doesn't really matter, it just kind of depends on what you're working on. Social media, call to actions, let's talk about it. You know, most posts should have a call to action, and what a call to, I use this term call to action, I'm thinking, what do you want your customer to do when they see your post? So call to action would be visit me at the farmer's market Saturday, starting at 8 a.m.? 8 a.m. Or it would be head to my profile, click my link, buy my product online, come to my store, come to this event. Not every single post needs to have that, but when you have an interested customer looking at your content, you do want to be able to have a way to activate them. And that would be giving them, that next step. A lot of people will be scrolling through, maybe they'll enjoy it, it'll be a touch point in their mind of like, oh yeah, like that small business exists. I haven't been there in a while, or I haven't like purchased that product in a while. You'll have that group of people who are just like, oh yeah, like I need to keep that in mind. But there will be like that percentage of people who are interested in buying now and like activating now, and you want to give them that opportunity. So call to actions, those are the examples. On TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook, Facebook makes it easy because it's just a clickable link. And Instagram, and also TikTok too, it's not, they don't provide clickable links. You have to do the profile. Do you have to do the profile in TikTok?
Like creating a...
Like send people your profile. So if you posted a TikTok and said like, visit my website, You can't put the website in the caption.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
doesn't work.
Right, that's what I thought, okay. So a tool that you can use, there's a free version and then there's a paid version, is Linktree. Link in Bio is another one where like maybe you have multiple things that you want people to do. Maybe you wanna sell tickets or have people join an email list or have people go to your website. Linktree is a good way to kind of organize all your links in one place, so then you can say things like reserve your Thanksgiving turkey, link in bio, and have it direct to that page on your website. Yeah. Followers, how to get them. This is a great question, and it's something that we all want more of. One option is to use local relevant hashtags. Post great copy, post great photos. Spend time in the app liking, commenting, and following local potential customers. This is something I talked about at our last workshop. One way of doing that is following local hashtags on, like, for instance, Instagram. You can follow an actual hashtag. You can follow Greater Lafayette, Indiana, West Lafayette, Lafayette, Indiana, some of these local hashtags, and then people who are using those, you can be, when they come up on your page, you can be liking or commenting on those posts, or even giving them a follow. You can also go to another local business that might have some customer overlap and follow some of their local customers that are following their page. That can increase your follower list. Social media advertising is an option. Follower campaigns, so like this is like the partner content that you had mentioned. Maybe you partner with a local business to cross promote your pages in some way. That can be look like a giveaway, or it can just look like like for instance, I was at Ritual the other day and they have cocktails that feature like flying high tea. I actually don't think that's a great example. I think they may have just gone out of business, but different example, but something like that. But you get that concept, okay? It's partnering with other local businesses to get your name and brand out there. And then it's never a bad idea to prompt people to follow in person at events or in your email. Just remind them to follow you on social media. You can get a couple that way as well. Hashtags. What I've found on hashtags is that the organic reach, like, it's pretty minimal. How much higher an organic reach will be when you use hashtags, but it is there. So, if you are reaching, say, like 150 to 350 accounts, no hashtags. If you use a bunch of like local hashtags in your area, I have seen that increase by, like 25 accounts, which isn't nothing. And hopefully with the hashtags, you're popping up in people's feed who maybe follow Greater Lafayette, Indiana, or West Lafayette. When you're using those hashtags that are the types of hashtags that local people follow, you can be discovered. So it's something to definitely play around with. You can make a note in your phone of the ones that you always use and add 2 or 4 additional ones based on the post. I recommend focusing, again, from a farmer's market perspective, on the local ones, unless you have more of a national reach, and then there's all sorts of national ones that you can do too. Analytics. This is another part of social media. So I wish that there was like a social media secret, or do A, B, C and get this answer. A lot of it is guess and check, because the algorithms are changing on us, forever and ever as well. So keeping an eye on what posts perform well is so important, and then just doing more of that. Like, your audience will let you know, Instagram will let you know, TikTok will let you know. Like, you know, if certain things do well, really try to dive into that and think about why. Was it, you know, the camera angle? Was it like, you know, traditionally, images and videos with people in them do perform better. So, you know, was there even just little things like you're taking a photo, a product photo, if you have a hand lighting the candle in the photo, there are studies done by like Sprout Social and HubSpot Marketing that those perform higher. Even just having a little bit of an essence of human, even in like high quality product shots, is something to play around with. And you can dive into analytics a couple different ways. Professional dashboard on Instagram on the far left. And there's two ways to look at Facebook analytics. One is on your page looking at the professional dashboard. If you want to dive a little bit deeper even, there's Meta Business Suite to play around with. And then when you go to Meta Business Suite, you can look at your Facebook and your Instagram analytics. So if you're an Instagram person, yes, professional dashboard over here, but you'll also find a bunch of Instagram analytics in the Meta Business Suite on the Facebook like back end as well. So yeah, what do we want to talk about? Social media. That kind of covers some of the major content topics that I often get questions about from local businesses, but I'm more than open to continuing the conversation anywhere you'd like. Do you have any thoughts?
So I would say our local like reach is decently okay. We want to try to start reaching nationwide now.
Yeah, nationwide.
So I really don't know where to start.
Yeah.
From there.
Yeah, I would. So some things to think about would definitely be partnerships and advertising. Are you thinking from a nationwide perspective? So I assume that there is a e-commerce website for people to purchase at. Yeah. And then it's always easier, in my opinion, to start regionally because you're still local regionally. So thinking about the Indianapolis market or the Chicago market, you know, Cincinnati, Michigan. So kind of, you know, there's a whole big world out there, but you know, how do you drill down a little bit more and think about, okay, first, how do we penetrate the Indianapolis market? You know, there, like one opportunity would be considering doing, looking into any in-person events. Obviously, maybe not an additional farmers market, but I wonder if they have any like Christmas markets or other in-person events like that where you go and table at and really like meet an audience like in person on the ground. Like that would be one option. And then when you're there, you know, try to encourage people, maybe do a slight discount, especially since it's a new market. Like if you follow us on social media, get 10% off, you know, something like that. There would also be opportunity for some of the business cross promotions. We haven't talked about influencers as they're called, but the major markets definitely have influencers. So there's Indianapolis influencers out there that, and the ones that have like quite a few followers, kind of like look around on their pages and see how their giveaways are doing. Some of them that have like 20,000 followers and run giveaways, they can get quite a few comments. Thinking it's been a couple years since I looked at my Indianapolis like list, but there are some of those individuals that you can maybe try to work with. At that level and in this day and age, a lot of them do kind of cost a little bit of money, unfortunately. 10 years ago it was just like a product swap, but I feel like charging for giveaway posts like that has definitely increased in its like regularity. Most people do like request that, but something to play around with. And maybe if someone has more like the 5,000-10,000 range, product swap might work for them. Always like just see if product swap will work. I like that version better than paying because it's hard to draw a direct line that like this payment and like this way brought X sales. So you know, so it's just a little bit hard. So those are a few ideas to get going. I'd also say that, like I said, I mean, some advertising. social media advertising, might be a good option too. Especially when you have a space for someone to direct to an e-commerce purchasing online. There's more utility there. It's a little bit harder, again, to draw a direct line to a brick and mortar business, but if you have a shop online and you have a, and you're able to look at the analytics, like this ad got this many links, and you can also, what's the word for it? You connect your website onto the Meta Business Suite, and it shows you, what is that? Does that? It's totally escaping me. But anyways, the Meta Business Suite, you can add like meta tags from your website so that it shows you how many sales a certain ad created. So that's an opportunity too. And that just has to do with like kind of like the Google Analytics linking that metadata between the two. So that would be an option as well. Yeah. Yeah, so those are my thoughts there. What else?
We're having a really hard time trying to get people to the website right now.
Yep.
Like we get people to get to the homepage and they don't get off of that. So.
Yeah, so you're having a high bounce rate on the web page, on the first page. Yeah, I mean.
And like we do like product posts and everything, so like you can see the product and what it's like, and like we even try to put ourselves in the video and photo. Just for some reason it's not working.
Yeah, I mean if you're having a bounce rate, a high bounce rate on your homepage, what something to think about is there some sort of a mismatch of where people are coming and what they're expecting to find? Because bounce rates increase when where they clicked and where they went didn't match what they expected. So, you know, I don't know. I'm this is kind of like theory. This is like SEO theory. But is there some mismatch there? Like if you're saying, you know, get this new candle or whatever it is, like you know, buy my new product online, is your front page, you know, showcasing that new product right there, you know, or is it like how many clicks does it take for them to get to the purchase page if they're clicking over from seeing a new product? Like that's always a good experiment, is how many clicks does it take to get to cart. And this is something I would recommend that DIY e-commerce workshop that Tyler's running. He'll have additional tips there as well, as far as like setting up your website to be really streamlined as far as that user experience of getting to the website, getting to cart, and getting checked out in a really like fast and easy fashion. People, you know, want things to just feel seamless and use Apple Pay and like Android Pay and all these different things. That'd be something to think about. Yeah, and then another potential reason for bounces, yeah, is like the depth of site. You know, like how many pages do you have? Like where else would they go on your website? There's a few different schools of thought. Like some people have websites that are incredibly long and you can find everything through a scroll, and those people have incredibly high bounce rates, and that's fine because, you know, that big page works for them if they're making the sale. Other people have multiple pages, want people to explore, so they would maybe have, you know, the about them, their story, you know, different FAQ pages, their shop page, all these different things. So another thing would be creating a high bounce would be that they're getting the information they needed from the first page, which wouldn't indicate an issue. It doesn't mean, you know, maybe if they found what they needed already. So I'd just be looking at that first page and thinking from the customer perspective, where do you want them to be going? Like if they're bouncing from the first page, what page are they not clicking? And how obvious is it that you want them to click that page? Also, can you move that content to your first page so it's even less clicks, you know, just some things to think about.
Okay.
Anything else? This is fun.
SEOs. So
yeah.
they're such a pain.
I know.
Is it better to put just like a description of like what the site link is, or is it better to do like single words, like keywords?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Have you played around in like Google Keyword Planner?
No, I haven't tried it.
Yeah, that's a free tool.
Okay.
And then the other like industry favorite is called, so it's SEM Rush. Yeah, SEM Rush, Search Engine Marketing Rush. And they have like some free options, they have some paid options, but as far as the marketing industry, from what I've seen, it's like kind of the industry standard. It's maybe kind of like the MailChimp, you know, or like the WordPress or whatever. So that's something to look at.
Okay.
Google Keyword Planner, free tool. You can go in and look at how, like, because this is the first question of SEO, is like, what SEOs are you targeting?
Mhm.
You know, so SEMrush and Google Keyword Planner helps you figure out what ones you want to target. And then SEMrush and Google Analytics helps you see where you're ranking from a SEO perspective. You know, it can help you show page rank increase or decrease for certain ones that you are categorizing. So what I've seen in those tools is that a combination of long and short keywords are like the way to go, you know. And again, it just depends on how many people are searching these terms. So and those tools will tell you that. It'll say, you know, and some of them are so big, you know, it could be millions that are searching candle. Are you ever gonna rank there? It would be really hard, you know. Probably gonna need to like pay some Google ads to rank at something like that. And is that really gonna be your customer too? So those tools help you think through from a customer perspective is what are they searching for and which ones have the potential to rank, you know. So yeah, I would explore those too.
Okay.
Thanks.
I've taken a look at our like was it the Google Search Council?
Yes.
Of where we're trending at.
Yep.
Is it normal to follow like say like winter time your trend line's gonna be down, but then summer and like winter you're gonna, or summer and fall you're gonna be a little bit higher? Is that normal for like an e-commerce website?
I mean, I guess it depends on what your product is.
Okay.
In general, for e-commerce, I would actually almost expect a little bit of the opposite because of gift buying
Mhm.
in November and December. However, since I know you have a large presence at the farmers market, are you saying that that's what you saw?
So November, December is pretty high for us, but then
Yeah.
like January, February is super low.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that does follow general consumer trends where people buy a lot in November, December, and kind of cool it January, February.
Okay.
So I think that would be following consumer trends.
Would it be a good idea to do like a trend of like how we're trending on Google, but then also like who's clicking on our website or who's clicking links or keyword searches and see like how those correlate.
Yeah. No, I think that'd be a great way. Yeah, it'd be great to look at for sure, and try to have an understanding of who's clicking and where they're coming from. You know, from the other thing to think about with SEO is, this is kind of changing the subject, but backlinks. You know, things like making sure that your website is properly linked even on the GLC page, because all those backlinks increase credibility for your website. And again, thinking regionally, are there any pitches to be made for places that list holiday offerings, you know, or local offerings, any opportunity to get listed on a local website's page, whether it's through media or partnership, to be featured and get backlinked. Cool. All right, our next topic is email marketing. Do you guys do email?
We're trying.
What's your shop?
Floricam company.
Yeah. What's your cart? Is it Shopify? Is it
Square.
Square?
Mm-hmm.
So is it Square Space or is it Square Up?
Just Square Up.
Square Up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use their email marketing?
Yes.
Okay, so have you had good luck with their CRM? Like, so with Square Up, more so than like certain other payment processing, they capture some emails when people pay,
Mhm.
at the console, and so you don't even have to like necessarily get them to like give their email because it'll be
Like
kind of
subscribe,
connected
yeah.
to their credit card. Have you had good luck with that?
Somewhat, if the customer's card is willing
Right,
to
right.
do
If the
it,
card is
yeah.
set up, yeah, totally.
Mhm.
It's bank specific,
But
yeah.
I'd say that's where we gain most of our emails.
Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about. Yeah, I think this is a great opportunity for small businesses using Square Up for anyone who's tuning in. Building an email list. So, I paired this with social media because it is a very stark contrast where in social media you can work so hard to get these followers, and then Meta or TikTok has control over when they see your content. With email marketing, you have the opportunity to email people when you have something to say and when there's something relevant to your business. I thought people hated email. Gonna start there. Meet customers where they're at on your list. Some people do hate email. We're not talking about those people. There's a lot of people in the world, and some people like their email. In particular, the people who we're thinking about are true fans of your business and are truly interested in what you have to offer. So some stats. There's a 21% average open rate for emails across industries. That's much higher for local small businesses. The average organic reach rates for businesses on Instagram and Facebook, when I pulled this, was 9 and then 4%. So you're seeing a higher rate, right? So that's why we would want to do this. And this is really great for people who have e-commerce items. Because again, growing an e-commerce business, you're balancing your sales funnel of people who need to find out about your business and be first-time customers, and then balancing that with returning customers and that retention process as well. So just going to talk today about building that list, what to send, when to send, how to send it, the logistics. Building email lists. A few options. You have your website pop-up, embedded on a web page. Always recommend like kind of describing what you will receive when you sign up or providing an offer. I have an example of providing an offer on here. Pop-up is the orange corn, and that isn't then the want to know more is embedded on a web page. So this is a website building your email list. So these are 3 different options. And I will say that clients I've worked with who switched over to the pop-up get more subscribers. The pop-up does work. There is a way to change your settings in the pop-up so it doesn't do it like every single time and on every single page, because obviously that is annoying. But if you can toggle your settings so it pops up one time for a customer coming to your page, I think that's pretty reasonable, and you do get more signups. So, I'd say it's worth it. In-person events. This is another option. You can do QR codes, and then I have the Square Up platform. In-person events. So when you host an event that requires emails to RSVP, it's always a good idea, to kind of have like somewhere either in a button that they can uncheck, or in kind of like a fine print, that when they're RSVPing, they are consenting to your emails, get them added to that list. They're coming in for a reason and probably want to stay connected. QR code signups can work. Collect emails when you sell something in person or online with Square, or Toast is the restaurant kind of version that also captures that CRM. Sign-up sheets is outdated, but in some industries it works. I had a client get like 50 emails at an in-person event. People physically wrote them down. It was crazy. This is this year. Well, no, it's 2023. It was last summer. It was nuts. Didn't think people did that anymore. But some people do. Especially when they're excited about you. They do it. Building your email list. Again, just so I was thinking about how you build this. Few ideas are they call them like lead magnets or freebies that require email for downloads. That might be quizzes or how-to PDF guides or webinar video download are all popular things on the internet. like take the quiz sort of ideas, like, you know, yeah, which Disney princess are you? At the end, you know, you have to put in your email, darn it, I really need to know. So, and hopefully, you know, whatever quiz or download you have is very in line with the core of your business unit, so that anyone who wants to download that template or wants to take that quiz is directly interested in your type of products. You want it to be a good product fit there. Yeah, but yeah, one of the best ways to build your email list is to use SquareUp and have their credit cards like naturally have that CRM. So that's really great that you have that. What to send, you know, definitely new products, great time to send to your email list. And then, you know, you'll kind of see that this mirrors some of the content buckets we talked about for social media, and having that, I like having that continuity between the two channels. Some people are social media people, some people are email people. Don't assume that, you know, you posting it on your social media means that your email people saw it as well. So, you know, if you're having a big campaign on social media, that should be sent out to your email list as well. A new product is a great example of that. Why you start your business, FAQ answers. I love that one, especially for anyone who's on your email list who hasn't purchased yet. Sending FAQs out to answer some of those like reasons, those barriers to sales, a great option. Invites to events, what you'll have at the farmer's market, company news, lifestyle content or thought leadership, and then you have your automations. Abandoned cart is a good one for an online e-commerce. Birthday offers are always fun, welcomes, etc. And then some just best practices. You know, like just things like, and with SquareUp, I think you can even drop products into the email so that when you're sending out an email, at least you can do this with Squarespace. I haven't looked at SquareUp, but something to think about is whether or not you can drop a product in so that when someone gets the email, the button option is add to cart. That's one button. When they click it, it's going to take them to a cart. You know, so that's really seamless. That's a great call to action. It gets them right where they need to go if they want that new product. So yeah, so here's a few examples, like click here to get your free training seat now, get the recipe in green. Engaging subject lines, studies show emojis do work in subject lines. And then also just kind of playing around with subject lines. I have a friend who's a pastured poultry farmer, and their biggest click open rate, because they had an e-commerce online that people would pre-order and then they'd deliver. Their highest open rate was actually 0 emojis and 0 punctuation. It just said, "What are you doing for Thanksgiving?" And like Thanksgiving wasn't even capitalized, okay? And probably everyone got it and like thought it was like from a friend. They're like, "What are you doing Thanksgiving?" And it had a huge open rate and a huge sales rate because so many people on their list opened. It was like, "Oh yeah, like it is Thanksgiving, and yes, I do want your pastured meats." So play around with different things. When to send, you make the rules. Oh yeah, kind of like how there's the best time to send, which is, I always like the early mornings, like when people are kind of sitting down at their computer, you're kind of up there at the top. So I have a personal preference towards the earlier side, kind of like an 8 a.m., 9 a.m. send. But as far as the frequency, you know, send when you have something to say. Don't be afraid to increase the frequency when you have a big campaign. You know, if you have a special offer, maybe you have a lot of one product and you want to sell it, or like my pastured poultry farmer example is Thanksgiving turkeys. It's a highly seasonal item. That company can maybe have been sending emails once a week, and then during Thanksgiving time, really when they need to get those orders in so they know how many birds to get, if they started sending 3 to 4 times a week, that's totally fine. You can increase when you have big campaigns and you have a real big purpose, like you really need to like sign up for this, or I want you to buy these new products. You want to keep an eye on unsubscribes, but just kind of like unfollows on social media. It's not personal, and it's kind of weeding your list out to be the core audience member that is truly interested in your business. They will not care that you are emailing them interesting, high quality information about your product surrounding a campaign, even at an increased frequency. And if they have a problem with that, then they really shouldn't be on your email list because they're not a core believer in your brand. So don't be afraid to send frequently when you have something important to say. Because remember, when you shout on the internet, it comes out as a whisper. You can feel like you posted, a campaign about a new product. You posted about it, 3 different ways in video on Instagram, and you sent, 4 different emails out. If there was enough content there, regarding how it was made and how you came up with it and like what's so great about it, and you can just feel like you're just like really shoving it down their throats. But on the other side, like they're not seeing every single piece of that, and the way it comes through is like a continuous, message of like, wow, like they have a new product. It sounds really cool. Like that's what it sounds like, even though when you're sitting there at the computer, you feel like you're screaming. It just doesn't sound like that on the other side. How to send Square, yeah. So this is just a great opportunity for farmers market vendors. Basically the way this works is when someone purchases on your payment processing, depending on what type of card they have and what their settings are, it will automatically come over to the Square Up CRM with their email. So if you've used Square Up to pay before and you got an email from a business, this is probably why. And yeah, I just think it's a great opportunity. They also offer the customer loyalty programs, coupon codes, all sorts of fun things to try to engage your customer and keep them coming back. Another popular email send option. So Square Up does have like templates and things too that you can play around with. Oh, and then you can also turn on customer data collection in Square. This is like one step beyond what is automatically transferred through the card that's used and like encourage signups at the end. That's just through settings. Sign up screen toggle on, that can happen at the end. And then another popular way to send emails is MailChimp. They have integrations with Square and automations and stuff. I found their free version to continue to get more and more and more limited, so they're really wanting you to pay these days. You have to have a really small email list to not pay anymore for MailChimp. And yeah, those plans are usually about $10 to $15 a month, depending on how many people you got. Yeah, what do you want to talk about? Email marketing. Anything? Any questions or yeah, I mean referral campaigns are kind of interesting too. Referrals are something that you can do with email marketing, especially when someone's obviously purchased a product, sending them some sort of a code to send to their friend. That can also increase more of like a regional impact for your marketing as well. So that might be something to think about.
How many emails is too many emails?
I'm tempted to say the limit does not exist, but obviously it does.
Target's been sending them to me like every single day now, and
That is too many.
Yeah.
Yeah, Old Navy, like, yeah, yes, okay, those websites, yes, they do send it way too often. Because also, it's like, why are you sending me like 3 emails a day? You don't have anything new to say. That is definitely the wrong side of the coin. And probably what's happening is they have these huge marketing teams, and like, we're potentially on like multiple lists. So like, they have different like marketing departments, and like I'm getting like 3 emails, and it's probably all like slightly different lists that they're trying to target me for. Small businesses don't have that problem. They generally send to often like a pretty similar list, and they don't like break it out in that way that would totally overwhelm people. Cause like, I guess the way I think about it is if you have something that you need to say and your customer wants to know, then send an email. You know, like I was saying regarding turkey signups, you know, what's the appropriate amount of times to remind a customer to get their order in so that they can have this company's turkey for the holidays? It's certainly not once. I would definitely say it's not twice. You know, I would say in like the 3 to 6 range is appropriate. And if you're worried about oversending, the other thing that you can play around with are doing resends or slightly different emails to people who clicked. So, yeah. I guess in the turkey example, you maybe be emailing people who have already ordered their turkey, but in some platforms you should be able to kind of segment out emails that are associated with an order, and then emails who aren't associated with an order, who clicked through, showing that they're interested. Maybe they forgot, you know, so that would be another way to send an additional email about some special product or special event that's maybe not going out to the whole list. But yeah, when it comes to special promotions, I think in a single week even, like 2 to 4 email range isn't too many, so long as you have something to say. You don't want to send the same email every time. You know, you want to send, you know, like maybe the week before, like we have something new coming and like it's really exciting, like stay tuned, our product's dropping Monday at 8. Monday at 8, email comes through, we have this new product, this is why we made it, this is how we made it. You know, next day, maybe it is the FAQ about this product, you know, handling all of those barriers to sale rebuttals, like how long it'll last, what you need to know before you get it, or like frequently asked questions. So it's anything to kind of like help people think through all the reasons why they should buy it in kind of like that tricky FAQ way. And then maybe the next one is, you know, we're so happy, like we've been getting a lot of orders for this product. We do have a limited amount, so if you want yours, make sure you get it soon. And here's 5 ways to use it. You know, like, so then and every single one of these is not the same email. Every single one of them has different subject lines, and the content's different, and different types of personalities will gravitate towards some of these different emails more. And it will speak to them and help them like overcome barrier to sale and make that purchase. So yeah, so those just kind of like thinking through, again, like a specific campaign that you're doing. And then for general email marketing, a lot of people like once a month cadence, especially if they don't have huge changes in their portfolios. But if you have an e-commerce business where people can be buying all the time, or a farmer's market business where your product's changing each week, weekly during the farmer's market season, might make sense. And then you could chill out and do once a quarter during the off season and just let people know what you're up to kind of behind the scenes. I know that's kind of talking to a different type of business than what you are, but yeah, email marketing is powerful, and you don't want to be like the Targets of the world, but you can also probably email a little bit more than you think you can automatically, because assuming like one of those emails gets buried, you know, then all of a sudden those 4 emails now are only 3, and all of them have different content when you open them, so it's not the same photo, and it's a different subject line. Like all of these things kind of add up together to create a really good like email campaign. Any other questions? Good question.
So we usually do like a monthly newsletter that we send out, and that's lately about the only one we've been sending out. It has a great open rate, but the click rate is terrible. So I don't know if it's like the email's too long, there's too much information in it. We usually start off with like a big like header paragraph of like, welcome to the newsletter, this is what's going to be in it, and then we lay out everything that's going to be in there. I don't know if it's the buttons that aren't working right.
Right, I mean, it could be the call to action, it could be how far down they are. Definitely play around with it. I mean, like, play around with the call to action button being way higher in the email. Also, these emails are very long. Maybe you should be sending out more frequently shorter content, you know. Like there is some opportunity for like longer form content in emails. However, with like the TikTokification of the world, I think in general, a lot of people's attention spans just isn't, you know, isn't totally there. There still are some people who are like reading the New Yorker, but most of us are scrolling TikTok, you know, like, so I play around with it, you know, like if you cut the content in half, make sure it's like image focused with like strong call to actions and put it into 2 emails, does it increase the click through, you know? And then if you're looking through these emails, is the sales ask getting buried? You know, like, obviously you don't want to be so salesy that people are opening your emails and you're constantly asking them to like pull out their credit card, but you also want it to make it easy and seamless for people to find and purchase your product. So there's kind of like that balance there.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would just kind of really try to take a look at them from a customer perspective and, you know, do whatever you can to make it feel like you're looking at it without all of the knowledge that you've had of like writing them for potentially years at this point, you know, and just like really think about what it would feel like being a customer. And you're always writing to the customer who follows you for a reason. They follow you because they like your business, they like your products, they want to know what's going on with you. Write for that customer. Don't write for the customer who like signed up on a whim and is gonna unsubscribe in a year. Like, we don't really, like, that's gonna happen. It's fine. Like, it's not personal. It's not about you. It's, you know, maybe they moved to Seattle and they have their new turkey provider. You know, it's not personal. It's just them doing their thing. So always write to that customer and think through, when you look at these emails, are we giving them like easy ways to support our business, into easy ways to purchase, easy ways to refer, you know? Yeah, play around with it. Like, and then like the call to action one, like, people play around with like the big buttons and the smaller buttons, you know. And like this one's highly bullet pointed, you know, saying you have 3 chances and they're bullet points and it's a huge button. Like, I bet that for people who are interested in whatever that person, I forget where I pulled this, it's probably an online training sort of thing. For the people who are really interested in that person, I bet that call to action did well. You know, so play around with that too. Like, some of the small buttons, like get the recipe, I mean, that's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward. If you want the recipe, you're gonna click it. But sometimes, like, even the larger button sizes, really give them something meaty to click on can help too. Anything else? Cool. This has been fun. Thank you for engaging. Reminder, the microgrant opportunities. Apply if you want. Upcoming sessions. DIY e-commerce website. And yeah, and I can also like mention to Tyler, you know, if you're able to come to that one, that there's some like SEO interest too. So I feel like as far as like DIY e-commerce website, there's something crossover with, you know, getting good SEO going too. You know, paid advertising and building a brand that people follow. And if there's any topics that you're interested in us covering, we're all ears. So just let us know. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.